Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Walkie Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here at Walkie Pot Studio, and this time we have a product review for you guys. Vevor sent us a new pottery wheel for us to try out, and to tell you guys about it, we're going to make a video in a couple of parts. Now, this is a slightly different wheel than the one that we've been using before, the other Vevor wheel we've been using. We have two of those. Those are belt drive wheels. This is a direct drive wheel, so we're anxious to try it out.
Yes, and I'm looking at the box, and on the outside of the box it says that this is model YT28, that it has a 350W, I don't know what that is.
What? 350
watt. Oh, okay, power. It's supposed to be 10.5 kilograms, and the color is blue.
So let's open it up.
Wearing a blue shirt.
And we will, of course, have a link in the description. There'll be lots of stuff down there, so make sure you do pay attention to that.
Yes,
but for now,
and we will be using it in a bit.
That's right. So we're going to open it first and see what's in the box. And then after we open it, we will do a short demo and show you guys what it's all about. Okay.
All right.
Let's see what we got in here.
Yay.
All right, massive,
So fun.
massive piece of thick cardboard.
Ooh,
Nice.
yeah, that is nice. And we've got some kind of foam in here.
Yep, also a piece of foam that's to hold the wheel in parts all together.
Okay.
Nice big piece of
Wow.
styrofoam, and then a piece of foam above the wheel. And we've got our manual.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep. And see, there it says what pottery wheel machine, and it has that model number again. Oh, and it comes in 3 different colors. It comes in blue, pink, and white.
Yep, let's take the splash pan out first.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little bit more about this momentarily, but there's their splash pan. And I see our pedal is here. I don't know if that's attached. It appears to be attached.
Okay.
Another piece of styrofoam. Another piece of foam. I say styrofoam, it's not really styrofoam.
Well, it certainly seems to be well packed.
Well packed. Everything's in well protected kit. Now, this is the accessories and power cord.
Okay.
And we
You
will.
want me to try to get that out?
Yes, we will talk about what comes with the pottery wheel.
Alrighty, so let's see. Oh, that's coming out pretty nice.
These are the feet that will go up under it.
Okay. Well, I have the power cord now. So, yeah.
All right.
There you go.
Now, let me take this out. I'm probably going to need you to grab the box.
Okay. Oh, it looks like that came out pretty easy.
Pretty easy. Very pretty blue. I like that color.
Get that out of the way.
And there's our
It's
wheel.
pretty blue.
There is a little bit, it seems like there's a little more resistance than there was
In our
on
other
our
wheel?
other wheel. So we'll check that out and we'll see.
All right.
So this is the wheel. It's not extremely heavy. The cord plugs in the side back there. We've got our touch panel, and we'll be talking about the features on that. The wheel head itself, smoother than the other Vevor
Oh, it
wheel.
is. It's not as rough as my other one.
The belt drive wheel that we had to take a piece of sandpaper and hold it against the wheel while we spun the wheel in order to smooth it out a little bit. Yeah. This is not going to be bad at all.
No, that's good. I'm noticing a little wobble here, but I think it might be our wood table.
I was going to say, we don't know yet whether that's a table.
A little apron thingy.
And that's a very small apron. When I work on the wheel in a few minutes, I'll be wearing my own apron.
Yes, we have a
a nice beginner's pottery
looks like
tool set.
everything you would need to start.
Yep.
So you wouldn't have to get anything else in
I
addition.
love that steel rib, and
Yes.
we've got a wood rib.
And this looks just like our needle tool that we normally use. And I know for sure we have that same exact trimming tool somewhere in here.
Yeah, it's just a good set. This would
Yes.
cost it's between $15 and $20 if you were just to buy the kit, probably.
Alrighty.
I probably won't be using this when I do the demo because I'm very fond of my tools.
He gets into a habit and likes his own things. But then it's good to try new things. And then
we've got some nice trimming tools. We have used these before, and they are wicked sharp. So I am sure that these are going to be fantastic and extremely useful.
I use this one to cut in around the bottom.
Yep. You won't be seeing me use these while I'm making stuff on the wheel, but these are tools that I would definitely use to trim with. So the purpose of this video really is to give you an overview of the wheel and then talk about what kind of use case scenario would be the best fit for this. We're going to cut the video now, and the next time you see us, this will be set up.
Okay.
And everybody, we are back, and I'm ready to give this thing a whirl. So the wheel is 11 inches across, so it is about the same size, exactly the same size as the belt drive Vevor we've been using. I don't want you to get the wrong impression, though. I don't have this ruler here to demonstrate the width. I want you to notice that the splash pan still has a little bit of wobble in it, and I sometimes like to push down on the splash pan when I'm centering. So one thing that you can do to keep it from wobbling like this, which it goes on pretty easy, this is just a little wobble, to keep that from happening, you can take the ruler and just stick it under the near end of the splash pan, and that will get rid of that little wobble. Now I think I'm comfortable enough to get started. Just to give you some basic instruction in how it works. I have this set now for adjustment with the buttons, and the buttons allow it to go at, this is 50 RPMs, and then push the up arrow and it goes faster and faster up to 300 RPMs. And then if I want to switch over to foot control, I push the button on the right, and now I'm at foot control. And normally with the Vevor wheels we've tried in the past, we've noticed that it's very touchy and very difficult to get going slow, because there is a very small distance between the off and the on for the wheel. Now, just using my foot, I can get it down to just about 50, 55 RPMs, and that's as slow as it goes anyway. So I don't think I'm going to have to put a sponge in the foot pedal the way I did with the previous wheels, but we'll see. So I have 3 quantities of clay here. The first quantity is 1.5 pounds, and I'm going to try to throw a little vessel with 1.5 pounds, and I'm going to try a little bit of speed here, and I'm going to get it nice adherence to the wheel, hopefully.
Now I feel like this is much lower than the wheel you usually work on.
Right, so this is at least 3 inches lower than the wheel that I normally work at, but I'm going to give it a try anyway.
Right, and we did put this on bed risers.
Right. Yep, so it is not sitting flat on the floor. It is on risers, furniture risers. So I'm just going to cone it up a few times. It is a little tough because I can't get my full weight on the splash pan because it's a little bit low.
I guess if we had a nice sturdy table that would make it the right height for you, that probably would be better for you.
Yeah, I think so.
because this does seem to be, at least for your height and size, even with the change that we made, it's just not quite fitting you.
Right.
I think it might be fine for me.
Maybe. I will say that the wheel head itself is not as rough and jaggy as the other ones that we've tried. So that's good. Just trying to smooth it out a little bit.
Doesn't seem very noisy either. I mean, I kind of like that hum.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Reminds me of my sewing. Do you notice any difference between how it feels and the belt drive one we have from Vevor?
The only thing that I notice is tough is I don't have, the slowest I can go is 50 RPMs. There's nothing slower than that. So for making larger vessels, that might be a problem, maybe.
Right, because when you're up higher, you're going a little bit slower, correct?
That's right, or
Okay.
wider more than anything.
Right, okay. I gotcha.
The wheel itself goes no problem at all with 1.5 pounds. That's not
Right.
at all difficult.
Well, you're getting a nice height.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not at all displeased with the height I'm able to get.
And this, in all honesty, is the very first thing that has been thrown on this wheel.
It is no longer pristine and new.
It is not. It is now covered in the Chateau clay. Now, after throwing this first piece, what are you thinking about the foot pedal?
All right, so I think it requires a little bit of adjustment with how I use it, but I don't think I have to stuff a sponge in it. They've tightened up their connection, and it really is not. It really is not bad.
Okay.
So that's a good thing.
Yes.
So that was 1.5 pounds. Let's go ahead and try to get it off the wheel here. And I know you're not supposed to wire it twice, but this is a very grippy wheel. So we're going to try it. I may have to use pot lifters for this. We'll see. Okay, ready? Whoop, I kind of wrecked it. Actually, not too bad. We can. Okay, everybody, I'm back here at the wheel. Diana had to go on her little vacation thing. She's having a ball, so I'm going to be doing this on my own for the next couple minutes. I was having some problems with this wheel with larger amounts of clay. I cannot fault the wheel at all. I think the problem is that the supports I had under it were just too wobbly when I started pushing on the side of the wheel. So I decided to try something different, something that I haven't actually done very much at all, if at all, and that is to try to throw standing up. Now I have the wheel up on our wooden table. It's pretty tall for me, probably a little taller than it should be at this angle, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. I'm going to try to throw another vessel with this. The problem was that when I put 3 pounds on the wheel, I think it would have been just fine if it hadn't been for that wobble in the base. Again, no fault of the wheel. It's because I had it on plastic supports that were just a little too flimsy for it. So we're going to try it again, this time with a smaller amount of clay. This is only 1 pound of clay. And I'm going to try using this only using the hand controls on the wheel. I know I've got the foot pedal sitting up here, but I'm going to try this without using the foot pedal, and we're going to see how it goes. So wish me luck. First thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to slam it down onto the center of the wheel because I find it sometimes hard to get it centered that way, but I'm going to push it down, and then I'm going to start the wheel up, and the lowest speed it can go is 50 RPMs, 50 revolutions per minute, which is fairly slow, and we're going to see what we can do with it. I do feel the wheel slow down a little bit as I add pressure, but nothing too drastic. So that's a little 1 pound bowl. Not too bad, not too bad. I think it's going to trim up and it's going to be perfectly fine. So let me show you that real quick. And I'm going to wipe my hands off and give you guys my final thoughts on this wheel. First of all, understand that if you are coming from a really expensive pottery wheel, if you already have or have used a $2,000 or $3,000 pottery wheel, like a Brent or a nice Shimpo or something like that, this wheel is definitely going to feel like a step down for you. This is not competitive with a higher quality professional potter's wheel. But if you're new to pottery, if you're new to throwing on the wheel, then this would actually be a really good tool to learn with. Now, there were a couple of things that I wanted to mention. First of all, a couple of negative things about this. The first is that because it's so lightweight, if you put any pressure on it from the sides, it does tend to shift just a little bit. Also, at the lower RPMs, if you are pushing down to center clay, the wheel does slow down. Although I don't think I could actually stop the wheel by centering clay. I probably could stop it by grabbing hold of it with my hands, not that I would ever actually do that. But there is a perceptible slowdown at the lower RPMs when you are centering clay. But now I got to mention some good things too. The first good thing that I want to mention is the splash pan appears to be redesigned and much better functioning than the previous Vevor pottery wheel splash pans that we've tried in the past. The other thing I want to mention that is a good thing, it's a very good thing, is the price of this. This retails for around $100. My professional Brent wheel that I use here in the studio retails for about $2,700. So it's 27 times more expensive than this one wheel. Now, I will say, if money is no object and you're not worried about budget and you definitely want to learn pottery, learn throwing on the wheel, but you don't care about how much a wheel costs, then definitely go for a larger, more powerful nice pottery wheel. But if you're just starting out, or if you're not quite sure that throwing on the wheel is a thing for you, a wheel like this would be a great place to start. Also, if you have a classroom that you're trying to outfit with pottery wheels, you can get a bunch of these for the same price as one professional potter's wheel. And if your goal is to get kids using these, you're not going to be using larger amounts of clay, and they're not going to be applying large amounts of force anyway. I would say this particular wheel is a perfect fit for people who are on a budget, or who are exploring throwing on the wheel for the very first time, or for people who have to buy a bunch of these, like to go in a classroom or some other setting like that. Now, as far as long-term durability goes, we're going to put this to use here in the studio, and we're going to be using this quite often with our own classes that we teach here in the studio, and as a secondary wheel or a tertiary wheel for throwing things that we want to make here in the studio. Maybe I've got my larger wheel set up for a brown clay. Maybe I want to use this wheel to throw white clay or raku clay or something like that. It is definitely a worthwhile addition to the studio, particularly since it is coming in at such a low price point. So again, I wanted to remind everyone, Vevor did send me this wheel for an honest review, and I'm giving you the best, most honest review I can. Bottom line for this is, it's not a fantastic, really super expensive pottery wheel, but it is a fantastic, inexpensive pottery wheel. So hope that answers your questions. I will close this out with a couple of pictures of the wheel and some other bits and pieces that you might be interested in. For now, though, I think we're pretty much done. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you have not yet dropped us a like, please do that. Also, if you can, please subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day, no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.